There are huge changes coming to Black Ops 6 today. I'm talking pistol buffs, marksman buffs, a fix for the exfil UI, and a fix for the mystery box, and so much more. Let's jump into the patch notes. First things first, I'm recording this video the day before you're seeing it, so I hope all of these changes are correctly implemented because we all know how sometimes these updates can be in Black Ops 6 Zombies. But moving on to the patch notes, there is a huge section for multiplayer stuff. They changed like most of the weapons, a lot of the attachments. Well, it mostly seems like they did a full pass on like the foregrip, the combat stock, heavy stocks, and the CHF barrel in terms of recoil and flinch. And while that's just multiplayer, I have heard that it does affect zombies, so I'll need to do some testing about that, but I will put the patch notes in the description just in case you want to read through those multiplayer patch notes, just in case they do transfer over to zombies. But rest assured, if there was anything super game changing in those multiplayer patch notes, I would have let you know. Moving on to the zombies, which is why we're all here, we have a couple fixes to maps. Terminus addressed an issue that prevented the ramps from being properly illuminated in the boat race side quest in Terminus. How many of you guys remember there's a boat race side quest in Terminus? Citadel de Mor, they addressed an issue where players can repeat the Guardian fight in Citadel de Mor when loading a save file. I hope that doesn't mess with anything else on Citadel de Mor because Citadel seems to have such trouble with save files. And then they addressed an issue where the amulet would sometimes remain too high after defeating the Guardian, which I'm sure would cause a lot of frustration if you were trying to complete that Easter egg. They addressed an issue where players are sent back to the lobby after pausing the game in split screen. I am very well aware split screen has huge issues. The day before my wedding, I went over to my friend's house and we all played the Tomb. We got past the Tomb boss fight, which is awesome, but they played split screen. I played on my laptop, and my, oh my, split screen is a mess in Black Ops 6 Zombies. So I really hope we see a ton more split screen issues. I know you guys in the comments have been asking about it, and I just want to echo it a little bit right here. Yes, please, let's figure out split screen because it was a horrible, horrible experience. But moving on to the bread and butter of this update, that is going to be the weapon buffs, starting with the pistols. The pistols have always sucked. They've been so bad, which I didn't really mind because it's nice to have like a bad gun in the game. But you could see with the Strider 22, the final pistol you get, they increase the pack-a-punch damage by 100%, and they increase the ammo from 360 to 440. This is great. They reduced the penetration damage fall off by 40%, which I think means you're going to deal more damage through your penetration damage, not that you're going to get more penetration through more zombies, if that makes sense. But literally doubling the damage of the Strider 22, they're starting off strong. Moving on to the 9mm, we have an increase in pack-a-punch damage by 50%, which is just insane. We increase the pack-a-punch damage range by 100%. Range isn't that big of a deal in zombies unless we're talking about pistols, so I think that's going to be awesome. They increased the ammo. They scaled the gun and view kick down by 20%, which I think is a great thing. Sometimes with those rapid-fire pistols, you just want to be on target, and I think that's going to be a nice change. And then again, they reduced the penetration damage fall off, the damage fall off by 40%. But they did say this weapon receives a penetration buff when pack-a-punch. So another secret effect because no one knew this was an effect because who tests for that stuff? I guess I need to put that in my repertoire of things to test, but we can further increase it by using the FMJ attachment, which is awesome. Now that penetration damage, that penetration buff when pack-a-punched means that this is good against hordes of zombies because you're dealing damage to more and more zombies with each penetration shot you get. So very cool how they even have these roles within zombies for all these different weapons. I really appreciate stuff like that. But now we get to what I'm really excited for. This might be my new favorite pistol in the game, the Grakova. They increased the damage by 150%. That is nuts. That's crazy. And I love it. They reduced the damage range by 30% though. So it really feels like they want this to be sort of like the close range, fully automatic pistol of the game. We've lowered the max damage range on this one to make it effective at closer range, of course, with a more noticeable damage drop off when fighting enemies at longer distances. So I'm really excited to see what damage per second this is going to do. And believe me, I'm going to test it out, but it gets even better. The Sarkov 762. How many of you guys even actually truly use the Sarkov? I know I do not. They increase the pack-a-punch damage, critical damage by 50%. Interesting. This is critical damage only. These are straight up damage. So I hope that also means critical damage, which I assume it does. But this is only critical damage by 50%, which is going to be fine. They did a decent amount of damage. It's just with the rate of fire and everything, it was kind of the increased ADS speed by 50%. That really isn't that big of a deal to me, but handling, that's going to be a lot better. Lowered gun and view kick by 80%. That's big because the Sarkov was one of the highest recoil weapons in the game. And so that is going to be really good, especially with that rapid fire double tap augment. DM10, if you guys know, I recently did a video because Ubisoft people were talking big game about the DM10, and they further buffed it by 60%. This thing was I was already really excited to see how good this was. This is going to be even better. This might be sort of like a Maelstrom situation where this might be the meta gun in Black Ops 6 Zombies for Season 4, so keep an eye out for that. And the TR2, perhaps the biggest disappointment for me, one of the biggest disappointments for me with the weapons here in Black Ops 6. The 3-round burst after your pack-a-punch, it just didn't really feel well, but now they've increased the damage by 40%, the critical damage by 90%, and they lowered the kick by 40%. This is huge. I'm really excited for this, just like I'm excited for all these. I'm sorry if I said that 70 times. I'm just really excited because the Marksman rifles, the pistols, not the best guns in the game. These buffs, hugely needed, and I am eager to do my Marksman rifle and pistol weapon testing for my DPS sheet. And if you do not know, if you missed the video, I am attempting to figure out every single weapon's ideal DPS, at least as it relates to the most people as possible. I have already done the LMGs. I'm going to throw up the video right now for you to check out, or at least save in a different tab. I have high hopes for that spreadsheet, especially after these buffs. Moving on to attachments, they addressed an issue where belt-fed ammo pickups were not working after refilling ammo with ammo cache or max ammo power-up. I don't know what they're talking about. Belt-fed ammo pickups were never working, like ever a thing. So I wonder if that was just a bug with the max ammo, but I really truly don't think it was, but it looks like we're gonna need to use the belt-fed again and test it out. They fixed some things with some weapon blueprints, with the death effects. Attachments would revert back to its default thing with some weapon blueprints. Okay. For the gunsmith, they addressed an issue where mags and mag size details displayed the incorrect information in the gunsmith menu. I don't know if that's gonna be pack-a-punch stats or just regular stats. If it's just regular stats, that's not a big issue for me. Perks, Quick Revive, addressed an issue where Quick Revive would not default to the first slot regardless of when it's obtained. That is important so that way you can keep Quick Revive. Elemental Pop addressed an issue where Elemental Pop not working with Pack-a-Punched GS45s and Dissector. I don't know how long that's been going, but interesting that those now work with Elemental Pop. Addressed an issue where the Electric Cherry Augment will stun brain rot zombies. Another big change with the equipment, the C4 minimum damage increased to 70 and maximum damage increased to 250. Again, how this relates to zombies, I'm not sure because I'm sure the damage scales with the rounds, but they also buffed the frag mid damage increased to 150, the Simtex inner damage increased to 250. I'm gonna need to do a video about all of the equipment and what they do and how they scale and all that good stuff. But just so you know, C4s, frags, and Simtexes probably gonna be a lot more effective today. I know a lot of you are waiting for this update here. Aether Shroud addressed an issue where zombies would sometimes target players while Aether Shroud is active. This thing has been active, I think, since like Season 2 or something ridiculous. So good to see it finally fixed here. Thank you, Treyarch. That was a really bad one. Addressed an issue where the player would not have their melee weapon equipped after reviving a player while Void Sheath augment is active. So you activate Aether Shroud, you pull out your melee weapon, you revive another player, and then your melee is gone. It sounds like that has been fixed. Dark Flare addressed an issue where the helmeted zombie is immune to Dark Flare field upgrade in Citadel Day More. So that one zombie that drops the stamp, you're going to be able to kill with Dark Flare now, which is pretty cool. Oh, this is huge. This is huge. Death Machine increased Death Machine ammo to 350. Was it 100 before? Did they just triple the amount of damage or ammo that it had? I don't know, but everybody said the Death Machine needs more ammo, and it has more ammo. Or maybe it was just at 300 ammo, now it's at 350. I don't know. They gave it more ammo, which is what we wanted. Addressed an issue where the Exfil cinematic did not play correctly. It failed while Mutant Ejectin was active. Nothing too crazy. War Machine addressed an issue where it was displaying the incorrect unlock requirements, where description of the text for the War Machine was incorrect in the crafting table, not a big deal. Addressed an issue where the Mangler can was not aligned correctly with the operator's right arm in third person, whatever. Good stuff, little tiny details. It's good that they fixed that. In terms of Gobblegum, addressed an issue where the Death Machine or War Machine were left with an ammo count of 1 after using the support group. They are now disallowing players from using ziplines right after activating any robot here. I don't know why that could be. That seems pretty random if you ask me. Power Up Gobblegums now use the player's position as a fallback if gameplay space is limited. So if you're activating a Gobblegum in front of a wall or off a cliff and it's going to be in a bad situation, then it should spawn on you as a fallback, which is good. Addressed an issue where the timeout Gobblegum would cause zombies to stop spawning if the player who activated the Gobblegum left the match. All right. right, that is, I think I've heard of that exploit before, and it's good that they're fixing that because that could be terrible, especially in public matches. Addressed an issue with the Wonderwaff DG2 turning zombies into crawlers while insta-kill was active for the first shot. Man, I said the DG2 was pretty bad, but not killing on an insta-kill is pretty bad. But hey, at least they fixed it. Here we go. The mystery box addressed an issue where the mystery box could only produce a small subset of weapons. Exactly like I suspect. I mean, that's not really like a complicated conclusion to come to when you're doing that sort of mystery box testing like we recently did with our box addict challenge, but hopefully that means the box is actually random, except they increased the weight for seasonal weapons in the mystery box. And they addressed an issue where a zombie build weapon from the mystery box showed the incorrect rarity when dropped. So if everything is fixed with the mystery box, if it's working as intended, I would love to do a video going over just how random the mystery box actually is, especially now that they've increased the weight for the seasonal weapons in the mystery box. Are these seasonal weapons going to have the same issue before with like the Jackal and the Tonto and the Maelstrom? Who knows? We'll see, and I will test it out. With the UI, addressed an issue where some players would not see the on-screen timer during exfil. This has been a problem since season 2 with the Tomb. Thank you so much for finally fixing that. Hopefully, this also means the Shattered Veil UI elements are also fixed, because I have never seen, at least solo, I've never seen the ray gun, the blue SMG ray gun upgrade, or I've never seen the yellow pod harvesting step upgrade little thing, or even the paintings, the little UI that pops up there. I've never seen that, so hopefully that fixes those too, but again, I'm not exactly holding my breath. Addressed an issue where certain UI elements were not being cleared properly after completing steps of the Wonder Weapon quest prior to completing the Pack-a-Punch quest and the Shattered Veil directed mode. So if you're going out of order, you would get some weird UI elements, but now that's fixed. Addressed an issue where the cost of perks in the Wonder Fizz machine would not update if bought in rapid succession. Addressed an issue where the Staff of Ice was misspelled in the Wonder Weapon and Store Blueprint menus. That's cool. And then addressed various subtitle typos. They addressed an issue where the special round fog did not roll in gradually if a user joins the match in that round. And then addressed an issue where the spectator would see a black screen while the player there spectating used fast travel. That's a nice little thing. And then of course various stability fixes. So a lot of little tiny tweaks here, but also some big ones. The mystery box, this UI element, the death machine being buffed, Aether Shroud being fixed finally, the equipment being buffed, but the star of the show, Marksman rifles and pistols being buffed. Be sure, again, keep your eye out for my DPS testing videos. This is going to be so fun. In fact, I would highly encourage you to check out that video right now. I mean it, literally right now. This video is over. Click this video right here, go check it out, and stay beautiful.